Right, your 6 minutes starts now.
It was a dark and stormy night, and the captain turned to his mate and said, "Tell us a story." And the story went.
I want you to imagine that you are sitting at the back of that classroom. I want you to imagine that you're about 14 years old and your name is Dylan. You're really struggling with your reading and writing at the moment. Somebody's indicating about the mic. You're really struggling with your reading and writing at the moment. In fact, so much so that your recent SAT scores came back too low to register. I was a teacher at a failing school in North London, and I taught Dylan. And every day after school, he would go around the classrooms asking his teacher for extra help, which was pretty impressive for a 14-year-old boy. But the problem was, he was sat at the back of that classroom, one of 30 pupils, and one of the 500 pupils who I taught every single week. However much time I tried to squeeze in to sit down with Dylan, it really felt like it was too little, too late.
I'm from Hackney, which is about 2 minutes down the road there. And as most of you probably know, it's a place of affluence and poverty, where two distinct communities live side by side. Tremendous growth in the creative industries over the last 5 years has brought about 30,000 new residents to the borough who've got a degree level qualification or above. As Hackney Pirates, what we realised is that these new residents really want to interact and give something back to their new community, but they just don't know how. What we've realised as Hackney Pirates is that we can create that platform.
Sam and I were very inspired by an amazing project which was set up in San Francisco by an author who you may have heard of called Dave Eggers. What he did was take volunteer writers and local young people and bring them together to give them one-to-one attention in an out-of-school learning environment. Now, this project has been really successful in lots of places around the States, and we realised the demographics are just like in Hackney, and we really could make this work for our area.
We just had to make it happen. In just 6 weeks of planning, and with full-time jobs, we were able to deliver 4 weeks of creative literacy programs. We matched 77 volunteers with 29 young people from all around East London, and were able to deliver a staggering 453 hours of one-to-one attention. During that time, we were able to produce some fantastic things. We made them write plays and printed quotes from their plays on t-shirts. We made music CDs and produced poems. But this was learning by stealth. While they thought they were making t-shirts, we were improving their literacy.
This is Shane, and he was one of the young people who we worked with during the summer, and he's got learning difficulties. And he was, during one of the sessions, he was messing around, and Bev realised he was actually really terrified of writing his story. So she went up to him and she said, "How about you just dictate me your story and I'll write it down for you." Shane ended up writing an absolutely brilliant story, which he was so impressed with himself, he said, "Would you please send that to my teachers?" That's the kind of thing that you can do with one-to-one attention. The other things that you can do with one-to-one attention is sit with somebody who's just starting to learn English and give them real long-term talk time to practice that English. You can at the same time shine a light on the shy child at the back of the classroom who's not saying anything, while giving a really bright kid an extra boost. If you give people one-to-one attention over an extended period of time, over a few years, you can really make a step change in what they're achieving, both inside of school and outside of school. I'm sure lots of you will have had experiences like that. But just one thing. Sam?
Yeah.
Pirates?
Well, that'd be a good question. Pirates, because we think learning should be adventurous. We think learning should be exciting, creative and surprising. From our pilot project, we realised that some of the best learning happens in some of the most unconventional places. We deliver learning that doesn't feel like school. Without wanting to go overboard, we believe that your colleagues are your shipmates, your rule book is the pirate code, and you don't learn by parroting off the names of ports. This isn't Homework Club. This is the Hackney Pirates, selling the finest goods created by young people from Hackney. We're not preparing these young people for the real world. We're giving them a chance to be actors in it now. All that remains to be said is, give us your treasure! finish this last 6 minutes.
Our vision for the Hackney Pirates is a permanent, unconventional learning environment for young people in Hackney outside of school. We want to reach 200 people in our first year, giving them a place where they can do homework, but they can also work on creative projects like these. The need is really, really urgent, and we really, really want to get going. In the last 4 months, I mean, we just did a pilot in the summer. In the last 4 months since then, we've moved very quickly. We've raised about £20,000 doing things like that. We were told just last week that Hackney Council are going to give us a free shop for a year so that we can set up and do and get going. So things are moving very, very quickly. We have 100 volunteers who are signed up and ready to go. We have teachers who are ready to refer. We have young people who want to come back and work with us. What we really need is to be able to employ somebody to help us run this. At the moment, we're pretty much volunteer-led. So we are really looking for your support in being able to hire an education manager so we can really get this going.
I think we're just going to end off with an example of some fantastic things that come out of working one-to-one with young people. This is a poem.
That's it.
Does anyone want to hear my poem as a question?
I want to hear your poem.
Well, the bell lady says you've got to recite your poem.
Okay, there we go. So this is about Dawson, where we're running the Pirate, and this is by John and Giselle. Diversity is crucial. Drain all the negative things and add the positive essentials. And add all the right questions, which links you to Dalston in a hot second. Love to care, not to fight. Simmer some graffiti on kebab shops. Slap some gardens around schools. Throw together some museums and art. Take a handful of Barclays bikes for a ride to KFC. Order in some fish markets. Overcook just a tad. Now be careful not to miss out unity or it will turn. Now this is Dalston.
Okay, you've had more than your 6 minutes, so you can